Adam, I want to ask you something, and I'll probably set it up because it really has struck me the last 2 or 3 days. There's been so much talk about the early demise of the Kansas City Chiefs. They're on their way down. They're
I
not
don't blind.
good. They
I'm
got
not
it.
blind.
They got a great quarterback and an aging tight end, a great coach. But what else they got? And it hit me last night. I go, wasn't these the same conversations we had for years about New England and Tom Brady and Belichick, and yet they were still always 12 wins, great teams, winning Super Bowl. I mean, are people trying to bury the Chiefs a little bit too soon?
I haven't heard of people trying to bury the Chiefs, but I would just say that I think they are as formidable as ever, and maybe you could make the argument that they'll be even better. And I say that because where they've struggled in recent years, when they've been a great team, where they've struggled is at left tackle. They haven't had a left tackle to protect Patrick Mahomes' blind side. They went out this year and drafted a player that a lot of people didn't think would be able to make it back in time for the season or would be limited in some type of way. Josh Simmons, the left tackle from Ohio State. And if Josh Simmons hadn't torn his patella tendon last year in November, I believe it was, maybe it was October in season, if he hadn't done that, I would venture to say that Josh Simmons probably would have been a top 10 draft pick.
Mm.
But he did tear his patella tendon, and the Chiefs drafted him at 31. And he's come back quicker than people thought. And he's been all the player that people thought. So if we take a top 10 talent who's been playing at a high level in training camp by all accounts and have him protect Patrick Mahomes' blindside, and you basically lock down and secure a position that had been a problem on your team in recent years, don't you think that that team right then and there is better? Just think about what happened when Denver traded for Gary Zimmerman back in the day.
Yeah.
Did the Broncos not take a huge jump when Zim was protecting John's blindside?
Yep.
No doubt.
Yep.
Adam, is what is happening in Cleveland similar to what was happening in Denver with Tebow, with Shedeur and all this stuff going on?
I don't know about that. Who was Tebow trying to unseat as the starter? Kyle Orton?
Orton, yeah.
Yep. And by the way, if you don't remember this story, Orton, yes, unseating Orton. He got a shot because they fired McDaniels in the last 3 weeks of the season. Tebow did start. That's in 2010. In 2011, they tried to trade Orton to Miami, and they couldn't get it done. And so it fell apart, and there's Kyle Orton trotting out, getting booed, by the way, in training camp as Tebow's out there because Tebow's the, player of the people, Adam. And everybody wanted him. All the fans wanted him, and that's what we're hearing about Cleveland, right? Like, at least Travis Kelce said that. And we wish Travis and Taylor, much love and happiness, of course, goes without saying.
Of course.
All you hear, and we're listening to some of the talk shows there in Cleveland, Adam, they're screaming at each other about this stuff. And it does feel reminiscent of the Tebow stuff where just play him already. We want to see what he's got. It's nothing against the other guy, but come on, man. Give us what we want.
Listen, I think Joe Flacco is a capable starting quarterback. He's won a Super Bowl MVP. Like he's a pretty good quarterback. And so I don't think the Browns want to supplant Joe Flacco right now with one of these rookie quarterbacks. And they named Shedeur number 3 today. Dylan Gabriel is going to be the backup. They added Bailey Zappi to the practice squad today. We'll see how it unfolds, but they moved out Kenny Pickett this week, got a 5th-round pick back for him.
Well, Sam, all right, timeout. Why is he there? Why is he in Cleveland? Who wanted him?
Somebody wanted him. And by the way, you know what it is? Hold on. At the point they took him, I'm surprised that somebody else didn't take him. There were teams that were interested and they just didn't pull the trigger. So it got done where he went 144. I'm not all that into it. I don't really care that much who took him. What you think the owner walked into the war room and goes, guys, you better take Shedeur Sanders, right? I don't think it went like that. I just think they're having, maybe I'm wrong, they're having an organizational discussion. Guys, we got this guy. We never would have thought he would be here at pick 1. He's still on the board. We didn't have a terribly high grade on him, but he's graded higher than these other guys, right? Let's take him. I think it's like that.
That is a terrible plan for a quarterback, Adam. I'm just going to tell you, man. Maybe that works for a defensive back or a linebacker, but come on, man.
You got Joe Flacco and you've got Watson that they think is going to be back sometime this season, maybe in October.
That will be fascinating. If he gets cleared, that will be really fascinating.
To me, at some point in time, the Browns will probably take a look at what they have in Dylan Gabriel and maybe Shedeur Sanders. Let's keep in mind the Browns have 10 picks in the 2026 draft in Pittsburgh.
Oh, my God. Wow.
Including 2 in the first round. They have 2 first-round picks, a draft in which look, remember the quarterback draft last year with Caleb and Jaden and Drake May and Bo Nix and Michael Penix and JJ McCarthy?
Yep.
I believe, I'll say this now, we are going to have a similar quarterback draft in 2026. Similar levels of talent, similar types of quarterbacks. It's going to be another quarterback-rich deep draft. And I've never seen a draft in which the supply of quarterbacks exceeded the need for quarterbacks. I've never seen one in my 35 years. So it ain't going to be the first one in Pittsburgh. I guarantee that. I don't know which quarterbacks will struggle this year. I can't tell you the teams that will or won't be in the quarterback market, but I guarantee there are more teams that want quarterbacks, good young quarterbacks, than there are good young quarterbacks available.
All right, Adam.
Let me ask you a real quick question, because we always get into this. We usually wait the season. Who are the coaches, 1, 2, or 3, that are on a hot seat to start the season?
I'll tell you something. I've learned this. I know it's a question. I'm just telling you. Like, we've gone into years where I've had this conversation with people, and you're sitting here saying to yourself, I'm making this up. Well, these coaches are safe. They're coming off playoff teams. And all of a sudden, the playoff teams, like, we could say, okay, we could say today, the obvious answers, right? Brian Daboll in New York. Who else would be on the hot seat? Let me just take a look here.
Oh, my God.
Stefanski in Cleveland?
Hold on.
I don't think so.
Hold on. Okay. Brian Daboll.
How about Mike McDaniel?
Mike McDaniel, fine. You give me 3 names. Like,
I don't know. Care. I have no idea. I don't know.
By the way, like, I don't feel like there's teams that make so many changes. Like, they're in and out. My point to you is, we will not name a few of the names whose teams are going to struggle, and those coaches are going to wind up on the hot seat. And we're going to talk about these guys today on August 28th or whatever the hell today is, like Mike McDaniel and whoever else we brought up there.
What?
And a couple of these teams are going to surprise. And when they surprise and they're not on the hot seat, like, why did we even have that conversation? Like, the season never really goes exactly the way you plan it to go.
True.
What about Kevin Stefanski? What about him? Because that's curious to me in regards to the quarterback decisions.
Well, Tyler, you mean the guy that's won the Coach of the Year twice? That guy?
I know, and I like him. I think he's a hell of a coach. I honestly do.
The front office and owner who wanted to bring in Deshaun Watson, that guy's in trouble? Okay. Trouble. Fine.
Yeah.
A lot of coaches fall for owners' bad decisions. I mean, he wouldn't be the first one that lost his job because of it.
Yeah, man. I doubt he was banging the table for 12 quarterbacks.
Listen, Kevin Stefanski is a great guy. He's a great coach. If they want to fire him, go fire him. Like, whatever. Like, and the one thing, Scott, also is you just think you want to have one of these years. I think we had a lot of coaches 2 years ago. Like, it was like 10 coaches fired, and last year was like 6. And at some point, it's like these people got to say, you know what? Let's just keep riding it through with our guys. I hope they make my life.
They never do, though. They never do.
Make my life. Sorry.
Yeah.
But okay.
How come you haven't got Shanahan in the Hall of Fame yet?
Yeah, Adam.
Wow.
Total BS. Total BS. Like, ridiculous. And first of all, I'm not a voter, and I'm glad I'm not a voter. But I can't help it if they're making a ridiculous mistake by not putting him in. Like, don't get me started there.
All right. Last one for you really quick.
So ridiculous. Like, I mean,
it's stupid.
And I love these people that are in charge of people's lives like that, like, their happiness. Let's put Ken Stabler in now. He's gone. He left the earth. Right. He can't enjoy it. That's brilliant. Let's make Robert Kraft wait when he's been one of the most influential. I know he's on the doorstep, but we won't put him in.
No.
Let's make people. Mike Holmgren, I think last year was introduced. He was like a finalist, and then he doesn't get the 80% or whatever the number. Like he had enough support to be brought to the doorsteps of Canton, Ohio, but a couple of votes short that he can't get in.
Crazy.
Oh, that's great. That's great. Oh my God.
Adam, you're a proud Michigan man. ESPN now has a deeper relationship with Barstool, including Bussin' with the Boys. And David Portnoy, who, again, does nothing but...
Will Compton, my teammate, by the way.
There you go. Good for him. And Portnoy does nothing but represent Michigan to the degree. How soft is Ohio State for banning him from coming inside the horseshoe?
I mean, I wasn't aware that Dave Portnoy had anything to do with the fact that they lost to Michigan each of the last 4 years, but I guess